Hello, and thank you for stopping by. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you are not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when new videos arrive. Moving to Seattle. I ask that question a lot. I get on YouTube and I'm trying to find videos of people that have moved to Seattle from somewhere else, and I'm trying to figure out why they moved there. What was their reasoning behind moving to Seattle? Most of the videos that I found are from realtors, people that are trying to make you think Seattle is so great that you'll want to move to Seattle. Now, I came to Seattle in a roundabout way. I did not live in Seattle. I was not born and raised in Seattle, but I came to Seattle via Everett, Washington, which in turn, I went to Everett from Topeka, Kansas. And how I got to Topeka, Kansas is a story for a totally different video, but when I was in Topeka, Kansas, I met this girl. I'm an artist and a photographer, and this girl was gorgeous. I mean, she wasn't like Marilyn Monroe gorgeous or supermodel gorgeous, but she was kind of the girl next door. She had just turned 18. She was really cute, and she looked great in my artwork. But she was getting homesick, and her parents lived outside of Everett, Washington. So I pulled my money together, got on a Greyhound, and took her to Everett, Washington. That lasted all of a couple of months. Once we got there, she decided to split. No problem. So I was in Everett, Washington, trying to make things work. Then I got fed up with the fact that I was the good old standby. When she didn't have nobody in her life, she wanted to bring me back in. And I was young and stupid, and I loved her. And I decided to get back with her, and it didn't work out again. So I got tired and I decided to move. I said the best way to get away from her was to just pack my grip and go to Los Angeles, which I had been to Los Angeles once before, a long time ago, back in the early 80s, probably 83 or 84. And I loved it. Hollywood, glitz, glamour, old hotels that were like historically Hollywood, old theaters, Grauman's Chinese Theater, the Vine Street Theater, the Egyptian Theater, the Los Angeles Theater downtown, the State, just all kinds of theaters. And it was great. I loved it. But on my way to Los Angeles, I had a stopover in Seattle. I don't know what was going on, but the Greyhound had a layover for some odd reason. I think they had bus trouble and they needed to call in a new bus. So I decided to walk around for a while because I had a couple of hours. I decided to walk around, and at that time I did a lot of walking. I was more physically fit than I am now. I've gained a little bit of weight, as you can tell. So I decided to walk around a bit, and I made it over to I made it over to the Westlake Shopping Center, and from there I caught the monorail over to the Space Needle and had lunch. I was hooked. Seattle was gorgeous. It was a place for artists, musicians. It had lots and lots of seafood. It was just everything I loved about a city. And I've lived in a few places: Denver, Kansas City, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I lived in Los Angeles, Sacramento. I lived in Shenandoah, Iowa, and several other places. But Seattle, that was the home for me. I just fell in love with Seattle. My heart melted when I got there. But back in those days, you didn't have such a huge freeze when it came to the Seattle freeze. It wasn't quite as brisk as it is now. But then again, you didn't have quite as many people living there. It wasn't as crowded because the tech companies really did not start to come onto their own until about 94, 95, somewhere around in there, when Bill Gates and Microsoft took off. Of course, you had AOL and things like that, but Microsoft took off. The internet exploded, graphics, and back when I was first doing internet, you had nothing but text-only internet. It was the old dot matrix kind of computers, like they had in the libraries. So I decided to make my stay in Seattle. I got myself a hotel room. I like living cheap. Hotels that are like $25 or $30 a night that have a rich history. And I picked the Commodore. The Commodore Hotel was where I wanted to stay at until I found an apartment. So the Commodore Hotel once had Frank Sinatra stay there. And I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan. That's why my one channel is called Jet City Sinatra. Jet City for Seattle, Sinatra for Frank Sinatra. I no longer post to that channel, but I do link videos from this channel, which is We Solutions. I link those videos over to my other channel for my fan base over there, which I don't have very many people subscribing, which is okay, because I think my videos are lacking a little luster, if you know what I mean. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I just say what's on my mind. I talk about things that I think are important, and I hope people enjoy what they hear. I've always said, if you can think of something that would make my videos better, put them in the comments below. Also, getting back to my subject of Seattle, I have a very hard time finding people that want to reach out and explain why they moved to Seattle. I would love to do a video on that, talk to like 2 or 3 different people and have them explain to me why they moved to Seattle. Some people have said, well, it's because of a job. Okay, I get it. It's because of school. I get that too. A lot of people move to different states to go to school, but that's all it'll ever be to them, is school or a job. It's not like they're going to fall in love with Seattle and it become their home. When a better job comes along in someplace else, they're going to move. And when they get fed up with the way things are in Seattle, the high crime, the homeless pandemic, the drug abuse, the city council not doing their job, it's very difficult to find people that love Seattle enough to want to make it better. Now, I'm not in Seattle at the moment. I'm back home with my family because of my dad. He got sick a while back. He had Parkinson's and Alzheimer's come in. Well, he's passed away now. So I'm with my mother. And it's like, right now, it's almost virtually impossible for me to move back to Seattle because it's gotten so expensive to live there. And it's gotten so expensive to move that it's virtually impossible for me to just up and transplant myself back into Seattle again. I'm no Fraser Crane, by the way. So, although I would love to move back to Seattle, I had an apartment in Capitol Hill when I lived there. And I used to walk to downtown all the time. I worked at the Pike Place Market for an art gallery, and I spent some of my off time at the Downtown Emergency Service Center, or DESC, which helped the homeless and helped people that were stranded and trying to look for a place to live. So I had an apartment up in Capitol Hill off of Broadway, and I was paying for a 1-bedroom. I was paying about $450 a month. Regular rent back then, but that was the rent. And I loved it because I could walk around. There were a lot of people in Seattle, but it wasn't so crowded that you bumped into everybody as you walked. So I decided to walk to downtown into my job. And if I wanted to go to the Space Needle to have something for lunch, I would get on the monorail and shoot over there. And then on the way back, I would walk from the Space Needle to Pike Place Market as a way to work off the lunch I just ate. At that time, I was like the size of Jerry Seinfeld. I could fit into a size 30, 32 jeans, and I loved them. I was nice and skinny. Now I've gained a lot of weight since moving back home. I'm trying to get it back off. So I want to move back to Seattle because I want to help Seattle get rid of its problems. For one thing, we need to get rid of the Democrats and the Republicans. We need to get somebody in there that has the best of Seattle, the best of the Democrats and the best of the Republicans in their wheelhouse so they can best serve Seattle. It's almost as if they like keeping the homeless because they make money off the homeless. So, yeah, I fell in love with Seattle when I bumped into her. I didn't move there for a job. I didn't move there for school. It was a happy accident that I would gladly have happen to me again. If you can explain to me why you've moved to Seattle, if you are a transplant, what brought you to Seattle? What keeps you there? Is it for your love of Seattle? Do you think of it as home? Is it just a good paying job? Do you hate the problems that Seattle is going through? Do you try to help fix those problems? Do you speak out at city council meetings? Do you write the city council and the mayor? Do you hook up with any Facebook groups like We Heart Seattle and various other groups that have connected with the Seattle public? It's real easy to complain about Seattle's problems. It's another thing to have something that would fix the problem, have an idea that you can bring to the problem and get it fixed. I, on the other hand, have been looking at apartments. I have been trying to find places that I can comfortably move to. When I first get back to Seattle again, I will probably have to stay at a youth hostel, which they have one by the Pike Place Market, and it's roughly about $30 a night. And that would be good enough for me until I can find an apartment. I don't like sharing with roommates because the rent is so high. And they've gotten rid of all the hotels that were downtown that the homeless could stay at when they had money. They got rid of the Commodore, and they got rid of a whole bunch of other hotels that were $20 a night, $30 a night, because they want to the city wants to bring in the upper middle class and the young professionals that are making like $50, $60 an hour, $40, $50 an hour, that can afford to go out and party and drink and get drunk and, that don't cause no riffraff. They love that, and they want that to be in downtown. Instead of it being a tourist, they want it to be a residential. So this video's went on a little too long. I have to figure out a way to cut my videos down in length. So if you have an idea on that, put it down in the comments. If you like my video, give me a big old thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And if you want the notification button, turn that on so you can be notified when new videos arrive. I'm going to let you go on this note. Remember, make tomorrow better than yesterday by doing the very best you can today. Have a good afternoon, Seattle, America, and all points beyond.